Do
That was,
Halloween and Thanksgiving since they're coming up now, and then maybe even like the December holidays.
ooh, you're putting me on blast right now. Okay, so Halloween. So if Halloween was coming up and we were going to do a truck or treat promotion.
Yo, that was cool.
You like that? You like that? That was on the fly. So I would probably, for that, I would pick people.
Welcome to the Millionaire Car Salesman Podcast, the #1 resource for automotive sales professionals, managers, and owners to learn how to make money, accumulate wealth, and to all out ball out in the auto industry. And now your hosts, Sean V. Bradley and L.A. Williams.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is L.A. Williams, and I am here on the Millionaire Car Salesman Podcast, and I'm extremely excited today because I'm having a conversation with someone who is like super cool, man. Y'all have not talked to a person this cool, I don't think, ever. So she spent some time. She came out to the Dealer Synergy headquarters. I got a chance to hang out with her, meet her for a little bit. You actually heard from her husband on, I think it was the second episode of this podcast. So if you want to go back and check that out, man, that's one thing, but man, we got a whole nother. We got the leader of all leaders, man. We got Miss Kristie Leader, leader in marketing, on the podcast with me today. What's happening, Kristie?
Hey, so great to be here with you all, and thank you for that fantastic introduction.
Oh no, absolutely, man. 100% true. So, man, so we, again, like I said, we got a chance to meet Josh before, but I want people to hear your story, right? So can you tell them about, exactly who you are, where you come from, how you even got started in automotive, stuff like that?
Sure, absolutely. So I have an interesting story. I am a self-made marketer. I went to college at Washington State University, go Cougs, but I studied communications, but marketing really was my passion. So I've always worked in really male-dominated industries, which is crazy because I'm a super girly girl. If there's anything girly out there, I probably own it or am about to. But I really got my start in the fitness industry. Everybody remembers the BOWFLEX Home Gym, I'm sure. I blew our televisions up over the late hours of the evening trying to get you to buy $1,000 piece of machinery. That became everyone's favorite laundry hanger. After that, I worked in electronic access control, which sounds super sexy, but it really taught me how to communicate messages to different segments of audiences, whether it would be like locksmiths or systems integrators. And again, like not a very sexy industry, but definitely something we all rely on. But my most recent foray was into sports, which was super fantastic. I actually worked for the NASCAR track here in Phoenix, led their marketing team for 12 years, and just really blew that brand up. Phoenix International Raceway was known for sellouts every fall. And at that particular facility, I won 4 NASCAR Marketing Team of the Year awards, which means me. Yeah, I think we did a pretty good job. So,
pretty nice.
Yeah. So, again, like marketing is interesting because you don't always have to have a lot of experience in the subject matter. You just really need to know like what the process is and what the touch points are and be able to communicate a message. So I'm really excited to be bringing that into the auto industry, which I feel like I've learned by osmosis because, of course, my husband, Josh Leader, has definitely taught me the ropes when it comes to how to talk the auto talk.
Right. Got you. Awesome stuff. So, with your expertise being in marketing, it was so crazy because I'm doing I guess I won't even call it a PowerPoint, but one of the things that I teach business owners, right? What it's really like to own your own business, right? Because so many people, even coming in the automotive industry, they tell us, oh, this is like owning your own business, but nobody knows how to own their own business. It's like when I come in, what are the roles? What are the hats that I have to wear? One of them being obviously the CFO, right? You got to be the chief financial officer in your business. You got to be responsible for human resources. You got to manage your time, all that. But one of the biggest things is marketing, right? You got to know how to market a personal brand and that type of stuff. What should they know about marketing?
Well, marketing really is just communicating to the right people at the right time in a way that they want to be communicated to. And that sounds kind of complicated, but it really isn't. So think about if you're going into a business for the first time. So you're a new car guy who's just got a sales job. Well, your low-hanging fruit is obviously the people that you know, right?
Mm-hmm.
So one of the best ways to get in front of these people is through social media. We all know the power of Facebook, Instagram, even Twitter these days. But why not create a specialized message just to the people you know? Grab your cell phone, talk to them like they're your friends and family, because they're the ones that are going to want to support you immediately. Mm-hmm. But if you just do that by asking them to come visit you and see you at the dealership as their friend, now you've created a different message than literally just doing a post, hey, I'm selling cars now. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you're literally talking to them at the time that they want to hear from you and using a message that's literally going to motivate them to come see you, as opposed to just one general blanket message. And that's kind of a micro level look at what we do from a marketing standpoint, but it's a really easy way to understand the concept of the right person at the right time with the right message.
Yeah, that's a big deal, right? Because so many people think, I always look at marketing as, potential customer attraction, right? Just attracting people. But like you just said, I mean, if we keep it real simple, it's just, talking to, giving people the right message, the right person, the right message in the way that they want to receive it. So I think that's pretty cool.
Well, and let's be honest, people buy people, right? You can buy a Chevy Camaro from 12 different dealerships here in town, but you want to buy it from the person that you like. You want to buy it from the person that you think might be your friend someday. So being able to get that personality out through that messaging makes a world of difference.
Personal relationships, man, Kristie, you own it, right? And that's one of the biggest things. Okay, what's the worst thing you could be in the world as a car salesman? You know what I'm saying? And so
I married one.
Right. And so it's crazy because but people have that stigma, right? And so outside of that, we kind of just want to have the messaging is that, hey, we're regular, average, ordinary people, right? That have personalities, right? I like going to concerts. I like comedy. I'm a human being, right?
Exactly.
And so having that type of conversation, you'll be able to connect with other people who have, likes, who have the similar likes and all of that good stuff.
100%.
So that's pretty powerful. So what's something that, folks just maybe misunderstand about marketing? What is it that they think? And what is it that they should be thinking about marketing?
Well, I think kind of like what we just talked about, I think people think that you need to spend a lot of money to do effective marketing. And that's really not the case. I mean, the most important piece of marketing is A, solving a problem, but B, doing that through relationships. When I say relationships, I mean like making that relationship with the consumer so that when something goes wrong, it's not the end of the world, or they're not going to go and blow you up on social media and post bad reviews and things like that. Because people are way more likely to not only buy, but also be a little bit more compassionate if something does go sideways when it's somebody that they like. So I really think like relationship marketing is probably the key to success especially for businesses that are really relying on those consumer touch points. The other piece of that too, if somebody likes you, guess what? They're going to tell their 20 best friends to come see you too. But that can also happen in the reverse. So make sure that those relationships are positive. Make sure you're marketing yourself in a truly authentic way so that you come across who you truly are. And then continue to build upon those relationships. Just because you sold a car to Katie today doesn't mean you can't touch base with her in a year. Make sure she still likes that car. And if she doesn't, oh my gosh, come on in. Let's hook you up again, And so continuing those relationships is such a huge part of marketing. And I think it's one that gets underutilized.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm with you on that one. So here's the thing. I mean, you're killing it right now. Look, we ain't even spoke that much, right? And we're only a couple minutes into the podcast and you're really giving some value. So today you're a leader in marketing, but there was a time before all of awards and accolades and things like that you weren't necessarily. And so you might have made some mistakes in marketing. You weren't thinking the way that you're thinking now. Can you talk about, some of the things that maybe the mistakes that you made, one of the biggest mistakes that you might have made in marketing, like because you were thinking a certain way and what you did to maybe fix that?
I think probably early on, we as a business and we being, when I was at Phoenix International Raceway, I think we didn't really understand the power of digital and social media.
You're talking in car salesman language. I'm telling you right now, I'm telling you, hitting it right on the head.
Well, it's funny because I feel like well-established organizations are sometimes laggards when it comes to innovative ways of going to market. And I mean, nothing could be more traditional and a little bit behind the times than NASCAR. I hate to say that, but I feel like that's probably part of the problem that they have today, even as they're still playing catch up in many areas. And so we really saw social media in particular as kind of an afterthought for all of our marketing plans. Yeah. And it truly needed to be integrated. I mean, I don't think anybody could have predicted 15 years ago what the power of Facebook would be. And we probably didn't really wrap our arms around that until probably about 8 years ago. So I feel like we missed so many opportunities to truly connect and, again, make really great relationships, even if it's just digitally. It's amazing in today's world how people really do see those relationships just as strong as their interpersonal ones. So I do think that was definitely a misstep on our part. We worked really hard over the last couple years, beyond that, to really make sure that everything we did, whether it was a promotion or a ticket offer or just, debuting a commercial, that we really took the time to make sure that we had a thoughtful plan to integrate all of our social and digital channels as well. And we saw a lot of growth after we started doing that. But you have to do it in an authentic way. If it's just thrown together and it's an afterthought, it looks like that. So you really need to get on the front end and make sure that it's a part of your strategy from the beginning.
Man, Kristie, there was no way for me to predict how on point your answer was going to be when it comes to dealing with automotive salespeople. Right now, I know we're listening to this is the Millionaire Car Salesman Podcast, and so there are people who may be having these challenges, but for the most part, I mean, folks might be on their game when it comes to this. But it's so true. Even today, people think that social media is an afterthought. All right, I just was at a dealership earlier this year, and they're like, well, I don't really want to use Facebook because, it could be whatever reason, right? They feel like they might be begging people, or somebody in the Millionaire Car Salesman group were like, they don't want to feel like they keep asking, over and over and over to their friends and family and things like that. But marketing is something that it never stops. You got to keep reminding people, especially with attention spans today and how it's so ridiculous. And I'll just say this, my wife's aunt, right, bought a product that we sell from somebody else, right? What? She bought yes, absolutely. It's an alarm product, right? We do, because we have a financial business and stuff. And so Vivint Home Security, she bought, and her aunt is the kind of lady that goes all the way out. I mean, she just, she gonna get every system, every little, knick-knack that she can get to go. So it was a max deal, right?
Yep.
And she bought it from somebody else, right? Why? Because we weren't on our game when it comes to marketing, right?
Right.
And so, absolutely. So I'm a salesperson, right? It's 2019 and I'm still just kind of looking for internet ups or, just people to walk on the lot. How do you get that message across to me? What is something like powerful that could be said to me to get me to move, to get me to change my mindset? And I like what you said about it has to be authentic, because I really do want to get into that, because you said sometimes it's just thrown together as an afterthought. That's what car salesmen, unfortunately, do so many times. So can you help us? Help us, please.
Well, again, I think this is where it comes into, you're never going to be able to create one message that's going to apply to everybody. But being able to understand, and this is part of what I'll talk about at the IS20G conference.
Oh, shoot, you're going to be speaking?
I'm going to be speaking.
I'm excited. You got to tell me more about that before we done, but keep going.
Absolutely. Well, part of my presentation is all going to be about understanding your audience and where those segments live in your audience. Nobody is motivated by the same thing. You're not going to be motivated to go to Nordstrom and go to their sale the same way that I'm going to be motivated to go to Nordstrom and go to their sale. Do you know what I mean? As just an example. So you have to speak to people in a different way. There are people that need a new car because their car is about to die. That's going to be a significantly different message than the guy who's looking to trade in his 2017 Corvette for the new 2020 that's about to come out. Right. You know, he's looking to be snazzy. He wants to have the latest and greatest. He's the guy who's always the early adopter for everything. So understanding what those different segments are for your market and then being able to tailor those messages is a beautiful thing. And the best part of that, because we were just talking about social media, is through Facebook or through creating lookalikes on Facebook, all sorts of things like that. You can literally take your database, create those segments, load them up into Facebook, and then create lookalike segments to blast those messages to people that are just like the people that are already in your database. And it's such a beautiful thing because, again, you use that motivational message like, hey, the new 2020 Corvette's coming out. You're going to want it because yours is old now. No, I wouldn't necessarily say that, but you know what I'm getting at?
Right, yeah.
You need a much better message than that. But that's the content of it. So those folks are going to be motivated by that. Versus the folks who need a new family car because their minivan's about to break down. Yeah. So, you know, how you can tailor what you're talking about to different audiences is going to motivate them to come into your dealership and buy from you.
Absolutely.
And I think that's where the beauty of smart segmentation and thoughtful messaging comes in.
Wow. And see, the crazy thing is the message that you just said, the funny thing is it actually could work for some people and for certain personalities, right? If somebody's just like, because yours is old, right? That's how that made you. Actually. So what I'm saying. So it just made you laugh, and that's going to work on a portion of your audience, and I'll say for a portion of salespeople, because of their personality and how they act, right? You got the tattooed sales guy, right? He can get away with saying certain stuff that the grandpop sales guy is just different, right?
Exactly.
Same thing the other way around. Now here's the thing. So you're really giving us. I mean, you said some language that I didn't even really kind of go all the. What'd you say about? You said smart messaging, and what was the other one?
Oh, smart segmentation.
Smart segmentation and
thoughtful messaging.
Okay, I get the thoughtful messaging, right? So here's the thing. So obviously, again, we're talking to the millionaire car salesman, and some people really get what you're talking about, right? I know the guy, like one of the guys who I just mentioned, I know he'll get what you're talking about. But some people will be like, lookalike audience, like what in the world? That is way complicated. That's way over my head. Like, and even for me being totally blind, like I like Facebook ads, I want to get into it, but it just seems daunting. And I'm like, how do I get started? So can you kind of like rewind a little, kind of break it down to a simple thing? Okay, I'm just your average dude who, I'm on Facebook, I say hi to my friends and stuff, but I don't know how to get none of that stuff started. How do I do that?
So there's actually a fabulous part of Facebook that allows you to go in and create ads. I actually did a skincare business, and I'll be really honest, all of my years in marketing, I never actually did these tactics myself because I always had a team to do them, right? Mm-hmm. So my team used to say that I dreamed up the dream and then they had to deal with the nightmare because I would have huge, awesome ideas and I'd be like, okay, guys, go execute this. And then they would have to figure it out. So I started this little skincare business and I wanted to do some of these fantastic dream scenarios that I always did, but I didn't know where to start either. So I've actually been through that scenario before. But Facebook makes it so easy. And you go into their business ad little area of their website. Oh, Business Manager is what it's called.
So I can't just be like a regular person, like a regular page. I have to have a...
You can actually do this on your own page. Okay. So I think it's over in, if you go to settings, there's actually like an ad manager that you can turn on. I believe even from your own personal page, if there was something that you wanted to promote. Because there's different types of things you can do in Facebook. There's things that are as easily as boosting a post. Mm-hmm. So say you wanted to make an organic post that was announcing the fact that you just started I'm just going to use my husband's business, Sand Chevrolet, for example. Mm-hmm. So you would do the organic post, and then through there, you can actually say, you know what, I want to reach more people because, in Facebook now you only reach, I think, like 4% of the last 5 people that came to your page or something like that. So through this, you can actually say, I'm going to spend $20. I'm going to boost this post and let me see how far I can go. And with that, it'll pretty much, if it's your own personal page, you could probably hit all of your contacts in less than $20, which is super, simple and easy to do. The next step of it would be to create an ad. So all you have to do is just like creating a post, except for you do it through this little ad manager module. And then you can actually pick attributes of who you might want to see this. So say Labor Day is coming up and your dealership is going to do a great rebate on trucks for Labor Day. So if I was going to do a post and I wanted to get in front of people, especially for Labor Day, considering it's very red, white, and blue,
Mm-hmm.
I would probably go in and you can target people that are interested in certain things. So I might target people that are interested in military. I might target people that have checked themselves to be veterans. Another synergy that goes along with those two things are people that like classic rock. So there's all these categories of things that you can actually choose.
Do Halloween and Thanksgiving since they're coming up now, and then maybe even like the December holidays.
Ooh, you're putting me on blast right now. Okay, so Halloween. So if Halloween was coming up and we were going to do a truck or treat promotion.
Yo, that was cool.
You like that? You like that? That was on the fly. So I would probably, for that, I would pick people who have children. I would say people that are in probably like sports, people that like country music, because we're focused on trucks.
Mm-hmm.
And then perhaps people that are interested in football. So now you're going to get your sports fan, your country music fan, and you're going to get families, because I feel like a lot of times families are ones looking for trucks because they need to move a lot of stuff, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So those are probably some segments that I would focus on for a Halloween type promotion. You said Thanksgiving?
Yeah, why not? Because that was so good that I might as well say, go ahead, yeah.
Let's see, what could we do for Thanksgiving?
Because Black Friday's right after that too, so.
Oh man, I love me some Black Friday promotions. Let's see, so for Turkey Day, let's say a truck full of turkeys. I don't know.
It could be, yeah. And that even kind of translates into the holiday season, right? Because that's, Hanukkah, Christmas, that whole type of thing. So this is really good stuff.
Absolutely. There are so many fun promotions you can do for the holidays, which is fantastic. But if we're going down this road again, so for Thanksgiving, I would definitely target families. I would target people that like to take road trips. Mm-hmm. I would also target people that have maybe checked in to, 10 plus places over the last 60 days, because that means they like to go around a lot.
That's deep.
Thank you. But again, this is just an illustration of you can be creative and you can literally drill it down to very specific types of people that you want to get in front of. And this just goes back to our segmentation conversation. It's a different way to do it, but still the same tactic, just in a different medium. Wow. So by being able to do that, and then here's the great thing too, say you test this, right? Mm-hmm. And say it gets sent out to 435 leads, and of those you actually got 100 engagements. That's pretty good. That's a really great response rate. So what you can do now, and this goes back to what we talked about with lookalikes, is now that you kind of have this idea of a message and an offer, and then a group of people that have responded to your message, now you can actually, within that Facebook Business Manager, take that group and create what we call lookalikes. So you now have this little database of people that have interacted with you. You can go then find people that look just like them and resend the exact same ad to them. And that is the beauty of Facebook. That is using somebody else's information for your own personal gain, which sounds really shady, but it's awesome at the same time.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I don't think it's shady at all. My thing is that, hey, if you, responded to my situation, maybe I want to find somebody else who likes all the girly stuff in the world because, they, you know what I'm saying? Then she'd probably be my customer too. If Kristie likes me, then, whether it's somebody else, another name, right, is going to like me too. So I love it. All right. So let's talk about this, because one of the things I think that happens sometimes, and millionaire car salesmen get ready to be upset with me, right? Because I think sometimes we make it too simple, right? So you were doing the thing in NASCAR, you won like 4 different awards. What's one of the greatest ideas that you came up with that doesn't have to do with automotive, but it was marketing, a great idea, something that another company did? And what I want the Millionaire Car Salesman listenership to do is to take and see how you can flip that, right? Because everybody's going to flip it differently. So what's a different idea that was like huge? It was great with marketing and it just panned out so well. What's something like that?
There's been so many. I mean, I was there for 12 years and we did so many fantastic things. I think, so we definitely had a challenge. I think it was back in 2009 or 2010 in that Phoenix was known for having a night race in the spring that everybody loved. And then we had this fantastic semifinal race in the fall. So one was about competition and the other one was about, we called it Bright Lights Big Party, right? It was under the lights. It was a Saturday night. Everybody just came in like with all their best friends and it was like really a drink fest. It was a super fun event. But we had a challenge in that the pavement was falling apart and we were going to have to repave the track. And unfortunately, there wasn't enough time between our April night race and our November championship race to get that done. So they were going to have to move that night date. And unable to do that, it had to go earlier in the season. And then it was too cold to have a night race. And the TV partners didn't want to have one at that time. So they changed our race to a day race, which is not a big deal, but when you have 2, and if you have 2 races that are kind of exactly the same, but one is early in the season and the other one's a championship race, the first one becomes like a non-factor, like nobody wants to go.
Right.
And not only that, they put us in the middle of Vegas and California. So you had 3 races all within 4 hours of each other. And ours was kind of a who cares because they could go somewhere else cheaper and they could come to us in the fall. So regardless, we had to make it fun. So we were trying to figure out how to make this whatever race fun. And it was our first one. And so we were playing around with this concept of go, like everything is about the go, where are you going to go? And then all of a sudden we came up with this idea to have fans and we were trying to get a little racy with it too. And not racy like racing, but racy like, daring, I guess, maybe a little risque. And so we told people to show us their go face.
Shoot.
So what we did with this is, you can do that easily on social media, but we wanted to make it bigger than life and do something really fun with it. And we have in Phoenix and in many markets now, they have digital billboards, right? So they've gone away from the traditional ones. You don't have to pay $1,200 to print a piece that goes up there. And it's all digital. And what's the beauty of it, and most people don't know, is these digital billboards, you can literally change the message on them every 10 minutes, every 20 minutes, every hour, however often as you want. They don't charge you for it.
Wow.
So we decided what we were going to do is in the off hours of our regular advertising, because we'd already made the spend, right? So we already have the advertising up on these boards. And it's really important to have that during drive time. But in between drive time, we were going to change what the message was. And we were going to pick a fan every single day and feature them on these billboards.
Everybody want to be famous.
Yes. I mean, who wouldn't want to see their face up on a billboard, right?
Yes.
So we did this whole promotion. It was called Show Us Your Go Face. And people sent in the most amazing pictures I've ever seen. Like these people got super creative and it was honestly really hard to pick them every day. So then what we did is every day we featured a new fan up on this billboard. The billboards actually take pictures of the billboard for you because they have a little camera to prove that they put your artwork up there. So then all we did is we featured that on our Facebook page. And then all of a sudden the person that was in the picture, then they changed their Facebook page to that. And we got all this viral marketing out of it, which we didn't expect. That wasn't even part of the plan. But it's these little things and these little moments. And again, it goes back to authenticity, right? That was a very authentic way to promote people and promote our brand. And it just became this viral marketing asset that we hadn't even anticipated. So before you knew it, at the end of the month, we had our billboards on 30 different people's Facebook pages. So they were basically promoting our race for us. And we did actually sell out that very first race. And I do believe that part of it was the exposure that we got through that promotion.
That is cool. Let me just tell you that. Great story. And man, I'm already thinking of ideas, and all of my creative millionaire car salesmen out there, they're thinking of ideas of, just different things that they can do to kind of maximize that. But I think that's really good information, because I know Tiana, somebody who, I don't know if it was Josh that was on, it might have been Josh that was on with Sean. So he probably got another podcast, or I don't know, whatever the case may be. But he was talking about the whole billboard situation, and they talked about, putting money into it. But I didn't know that they don't change you to change your own message. I thought it was like it had to be something, static for 30 days or whatever the case. And then they also
most
said,
people don't know that, and it's such a great asset. You can actually, if you get the right person, they'll give you the login, and you can actually change it yourself.
That's fly. Don't give me something like that, man. I'll be, what? I'm all over that, man. So that's good stuff. All right. So let's talk about this, because I know we got the Internet Sales 20 group coming up, and I want to talk about that a little bit later. But what's something outside of that, right, that you're just really, really excited about that's coming up for you?
Ooh, well, so one of the things that I'm most excited about is continuing to build leaders in marketing. I have worked for so many companies for so many years and learned so much. And the one thing that I'm really excited about is being able to bring all of that knowledge and all that skill set to the auto industry. I think it's an industry that's been a little bit underserved, but definitely overpitched. And I don't want to see that happen anymore, because I do have a love for cars. Obviously, my 12 years in NASCAR definitely helped build that love of cars. And then a little known fact, I also met my husband when I bought a car. So there's a lot of synergies between me and the car industry. And I'm definitely looking forward to helping people grow their business, helping people grow their bottom line. And definitely what I don't want to see anymore is people wasting money on things that don't work. At the end of the day, what dealerships need is the same thing that NASCAR needed, and that was butts and seats. And that's the one thing that I've been really, really successful at doing.
Everybody say, oh, Kristie got a soft spot for I got Mary. Oh, so sweet. Awesome stuff.
Hey, I got the best deal in the dealership after all that.
Pretty cool. All right. So I just kind of want to go through some like quick questions and things like that, because obviously, you're killing it right now in marketing. What was the thing that was holding you back from becoming the you of today? What would you say that is?
I would say I had some fear, and I had a false sense of security. I definitely, so little known fact about me, I actually was a single mom for most of my daughter's life. I have an 18-year-old daughter who's a freshman in college this year. But because of that situation, I had this mindset of scarcity instead of this mindset of abundance. So that can be really crippling when it comes to your career, because you're so, I don't want to say the word desperate, but I think the word is definitely reliant on someone else to be making sure that your life has security than being reliant on yourself. And you have it. I knew inside I had everything I needed to be successful, but instead of doing it for myself, I was doing it for someone else. And I think it took someone like Josh to give me the confidence and the support and to tell me, like, babe, you're killing it out there, but why are you doing it for everybody else? Why are you allowing people to make money off of you when you could literally just be out there helping people for yourself? And it took a minute for me to listen to that and for me to agree with what he was saying. But then when I looked back and I looked at all the great things I'd done, and I was like, well, I did those. Nobody else did those. So why wouldn't I have the confidence to reach out and do it for myself? So I kind of think that really was what was holding me back. And I'm so excited about where the future is going, for sure.
Nice. Now I got to kind of hit you with some bonus stuff, because that's the thing. Like, we're the Millionaire Car Salesman listeners. They want the greatest stuff. They want to have an abundance mindset, but they have the scarcity mindset because of how they grew up, whatever the case may be, whatever the reasons may be. And so you just said, because everybody's not, they don't all get Josh, right? So what would you say, right? What would you say to that person? I know the message, how do they get that abundance mindset? What's something that they can, maybe a resource, something they can read, somewhere they can go on a regular basis, maybe even somewhere mentally? What would you say?
I think what it really is you really need to look inside yourself and understand what drives you. Everybody's built differently. Everyone has different drivers. But at the end of the day, when you look at the mirror, you really do know what those are. So my two drivers in life are passion and prestige. And I know this because I've taken 1,000 of those personality tests, and they always land in the same place. I'm an influencer, and I'm driven by passion, and I love things that are prestigious. Like, I like to know the greatest restaurants, and I like to have the latest purse. And yes, I would like to have the 2020 Corvette because mine is old. Oh, wait, I don't have one. But
here we go. Oh.
But, I really think it just requires like looking inside yourself and being honest with yourself. Like, hey, what do I want in life? And if what you want in life is to work for someone else your whole life and be comfortable, that's totally okay. And you have to be okay with that too. But if being your own boss and increasing your earning potential and, being in charge of your future is important to you, then you need to harness that and go with it. Put a plan together that's going to get you to where you want to be. And I think that's the step that people miss so much. A lot of people have a lot of aspirations, but they don't necessarily put that plan together to dictate where they're going to go and how they're going to get there.
Cool. Good stuff, man. And so you really just gave us something deep about those personality tests. I don't know if you have one of your own or one of your favorite ones that really tell that, because I think people would want to take one.
Sure.
And so text it over to me and I'll drop the link to it in the show notes.
Okay,
And that way
I will
people
do that.
can take their own personality test.
Sure.
Personality test. So what's the best advice you've ever received from, outside, I know you just gave me one from Josh, but what's a great piece of advice you got from someone?
I'm funny because I've already shared, I'm real big on relationships, and I tend to keep relationships even after I leave places.
Mm-hmm.
And one of my bosses always told me to never forget the people that brought you to the table. They're always going to be your biggest advocates in life because they saw something special in you. And that has always sat really well with me. And I've always tried to remember that. So when you look at different segments of my life, like for instance, when Josh and I got married, I had my best friend from elementary school there, my best friend from high school there, my best friend from college there, and then pretty much someone from each of the jobs that I had throughout life.
Wow.
Because from each part of my life, I learned something different, not only about myself, but just about life in general. And I think it's really important to remember the people that got you to where you are today.
Yeah. It's a big deal. And I think you actually just put a different spin on it, not necessarily just the people who, remember who you are, remember where you came from, but the people who helped you and, kind of pulled you forward or pushed you forward, whatever the case may be. So that's good stuff. So what's a personal habit that you have that contributes to your success? What's something that you do maybe consistently that, folks might be able to use for themselves?
So it's funny because I've always been an early adopter when it comes to technology, like got the newest iPhone, I'm on all the apps, all of that kind of stuff. But when it comes to planning and like daily tasking and prioritizing, I am old school as can be, and I have to write everything down.
Okay.
It is the way I learn. It's the way I remember. It's an easy way to reprioritize all the time. So I literally still have a paper calendar that, has got week by week and day by day, so that every day I can go in and literally reprioritize my tasks from the day before. And then I always leave some open space for things that are going to pop up that day. And that is what has made me, I feel, most successful, because I just don't forget anything because it's been written down.
Yeah, really, really good stuff. And so, since you said something about being an early adopter, I'll ask you this question. What do you know about that TikTok thing? I kept hearing all these, getting these emails and all that. What is it? Tell me, what do we know about that?
So I'm too old for TikTok.
I heard about kids. what is it? I don't know what it is. So
TikTok, I think, is kind of like replaced. There was like a song app that all the kids are doing too. But it's definitely video, and all the kids are using it to try to make things that will go viral. Like, they don't even care what they're doing anymore. They just put some actions and a little music to it, and they're trying to make themselves viral. I think it's a really great place for companies to be, especially if their targets are Gen Z. But that's who you're going to get. You know, you're going to get those younger kids. So brands like Dutch Bros, maybe even younger car brands that tend to focus on millennials and Gen Zs probably want to be in a place like TikTok. But I'll be really honest, that's all I know about it. I know it's there, and I know that the kids love it, and I see commercials for it all the time, but I have not dabbled in it at all. I'm a Snapchat user. That's about as far.
Got you. So cool. So maybe we could dive into that a little bit too and talk about how, you know, internet millionaire car salesmen can use Snapchat, but just talk about one of your favorite internet resources or apps, something that, you know, kind of helps you succeed.
Sure. I don't have specific ones from like a productivity standpoint or anything but like as a marketer, it's always really important to be in touch with like the latest trends, the latest news topics, so you can really capitalize on those types of things. So honestly, like my two must look at every single day. The first thing I do every morning, I go to Twitter.
Okay.
Twitter is the most amazing news source ever. I know not everything you read on the internet or on an app is true, but at the same time, it gives you an idea instantly of what's trending in your market, what the latest topics are for the day. And there's always something weird that pops up that sometimes from a brand, you can take advantage of that. We used to do a lot of that stuff at NASCAR because there was always like National Ice Cream Day or, you know, Happy Donut Day, all sorts of things like that. And a lot of times, like, they're randomly just popping up. And then all of a sudden, you know, there's 30,000 engagements on hashtag Donut Day. And why not try to hop in there and take advantage of that, especially with NASCAR, donuts, burnouts, like there was all sorts of synergies you can do with that. But I find like able to be socially relevant, which you kind of have to be this day, and to understand pop culture, Twitter and Instagram are like must apps for me on the daily.
Cool. And you know, it's crazy for me being totally blind. Instagram is just not, I don't know. I just can't connect with all the pictures and things like that.
Yeah.
But Twitter definitely. But who is it? Somebody that you follow specifically? Because I don't get all that kind of cool stuff on my Twitter feed. You
need to follow me and then follow all my followers.
There you go. Okay, cool. So give them, well, when we get to the close, I want you to give them your Twitter handle so they can absolutely do that. All
right. We can do that.
All right, cool. So all of my listeners know it's so crazy. Whenever people come on the podcast, they always get scared of this question, right? Uh-oh. So recommend one book and why. Okay.
So my favorite book, and it's funny because I had never heard of it before probably 2.5 years ago, but it's an older book. It's one that's been around for a while, especially in the business world, but it's called Who Moved My Cheese?
This is like the second time we got this recommendation, and I don't know if it was last week's podcast, but it might have been one before that. Matter of fact, so this is good. This is really good.
I feel like, you know how you think you're like the first person that's ever bought like a certain car, and you buy it, you see it all around, and you're like, oh man, I never noticed that before. I feel like that's
activating system.
Yeah, exactly. So this book, it's a super quick read. It's really little, but it's an amazing way to deal with like change in your work and your life. So it really points out all of the outside factors that can affect your world and literally like move your cheese, which is like, it's an analogy for like a mouse. Like the mouse is all about the cheese, and it knows exactly where it is. And then if somebody moves it, it kind of throws that mouse into some anxiety zone, right? Like, oh my gosh, where's my cheese? And people are kind of like that in the workplace too. So this book just does a really good job of illustrating like how those outside factors can really affect your daily work and give you some ideas on how to deal with that.
Absolutely. Or if you're from my community, like the hip hop culture, like I need that cheese. Give me that cheddar, you know?
Give me that cheddar, he says. I love
it. All right, cool. So you did say you'll be speaking at the 20 group. So can you talk to the people? What's your session topic? Because listen, if you don't have your tickets to the 20 group right now, I don't know what to tell you, right? So I hope you already got your tickets, but if you need one more nudge, right, to do it, Kristie's going to be speaking at the 20 group, and the name of your topic is what's that?
It's Be a Leader in Marketing. Get it? I'm a leader and I'm in marketing. Through motivational marketing. So we kind of touched on some of the topics today. I'm definitely going to go way more in depth on, how to do some smart segmentation and create messages directly to motivate all of those segments to come into your dealerships and things like that. So it's really going to be a deep dive of some of the topics that we kind of touched on today.
Awesome. I'm going to make sure I'm front and center because I want to make sure I understand all of that stuff. Marketing, I know, is just like extremely important. So make sure I don't miss that because it's going to be huge. All right, cool. So outside of coming to the 20 group and, kind of having lunch or breakfast or, VIP dinner with you and stuff like that and getting your information, how can the Millionaire Car Salesman connect with you? Like, what's the best way to do that?
I would say send me an email. My email is really, really simple. It's Kristie, which is Kristie, @leadersinmarketing.com. And I totally cannot wait to connect with people. I'm really, really excited about making a difference.
Awesome. And then let's get that Twitter handle again.
Oh, the Twitter handle. You can't laugh at this one. It's at Arizona spelled out, so ARIZONA, and then Coug, which is COUG, which stands for Washington State Cougars. Go Cougars.
I was going to say, I don't know if we really want to know.
No. For the record, Josh was older than me, so that does imply.
Okay, cool. So awesome. So we got that at Arizona Coug. That's good stuff. All right. So yeah, folks, make sure you follow her, and follow everybody who she's following. I'm going to do that as soon as we end this recording. Outside of that, let's get a parting piece of guidance, something that absolutely, listen, if they don't hear anything on this podcast, but this one thing outside of make sure this is at Internet Sales 20 group, right? I just edited myself, right? What should they know?
So I would say when it comes to marketing, I always try to live by like 5 or 4 rules. First is be thoughtful. We talked about that a little bit. Whenever you're delivering a message, be thoughtful of what you're saying. Be authentic. Don't be somebody you're not. Just like when we just talked about the cheese, I looked at the cheese much different than you looked at the cheddar. Be effective. Don't waste your time on things that aren't effective. And if you try something and it doesn't work, it's totally okay. Just try something else. And lastly, be fun. I've seen so many marketing commercials and things lately that are just dry and stale and the voiceovers are flat. Nobody's going to want to do what you're asking them to do if you're not fun with it. Make people want to do something by being yourself and being fun. Awesome message. And me, I'm always the kind of person that turns something into an acronym, right? So it's about FATE, right? It's about, you got to be F, fun, right? Got to be A, authentic. It got to be T, thoughtful, and it got to be E, effective. So I love that. Oh my gosh. Can I steal that? At 100%, man. It's all yours. I love it. It's about FATE. Awesome. So listen, this has been absolutely phenomenal. I'm so excited to have had you on this podcast. And I always share people. I tell them, listen, you are the average of the 5 people who you spend the most time with. And you've just been spending time with L.A. Williams and Kristie Leader in marketing, man. So I'm super excited. Thank you so much for joining us on the podcast. Go out there and be a millionaire car salesman. Thanks everybody for listening. And thanks for joining us, Kristie. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you like it, you love it, you want more of it, then don't wait for the next money show. Just go to bradleyondemand.com and take your career to the next level.